Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Rod, if you're free, I have an extra ticket to the Warriors and Oil Kings game in Moose Jaw tonight, if you want to join me. I would love to, but I can't. To quote Sammy Seafood Sam, I'm busy.
How about that?
Where's Seafood Sam? Moved to Calgary. He's busy.
Yeah.
But thank you, Glenn.
Muna.
Big shots.
Sitting up there with the Russian national coach at the press conference.
Guy ran a seafood restaurant in Saskatoon, okay? His name was Seafood Sam. That was the name of the restaurant, and the Saskatoon Blades would bring him down to coach the All-Star or the intra-squad game, and he'd start brawls and...
I remember hearing the story about Daryl Lubanicki. They told the guys, no more fights. And so all of a sudden there's a fight, and then they drop the puck, and then there's another fight, and there's another.
He's coaching the intra-squad
One
game.
kid had fought 3 times, so Daryl Lubanicki said, I'm going to put an end to this. And he walks around the rink, and he comes over to the kid who's had 3 fights, and he says, what in is going on around here? And the kid says, that Chinese guy keeps sending me out to beat out of that. So he had to go to this Seafood Sam, who was this little 5'2" Chinese fellow who owned the local restaurant.
Seafood Sam's.
And tell him to knock it off.
No more fights.
How about that? Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Ryan McCarthy, watching in upstate New York, says, why does Saskatchewan have the best town names? Paradise Hill, Moose Jaw. Well, he says Flin Flon, and that's actually Manitoba. And frankly, I'm partial to Medicine Hat.
How about that?
I also learn something every day. We learned today that Flin Flon, Manitoba stands for Flint Tibeti Floniton, a fictional character from a 1905 novel.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show on a Tuesday, right, Moose? It's Tuesday. We're coming to you from the bunker. We're back home for today's program. We're here for a good time, not a long time, and that's true specifically for me, and I'll get into that in a second. Yeah, the Moose is here. Hello, everybody. It's going to be a lot of hockey today on the program, but I do have some very interesting football tidbits to pass along that I want everybody to join into the discussion on today, because that's what we do every day. I found my I Love Atlanta mug, so shout out to WQEE Atlanta and our good crew down there, Rhino Radio. Coming up on the program today, Jared Demba, our hockey analyst, a Blades and Hounds alum, 10-year pro hockey player, and also the voice of the Saskatoon Blades. Les Lazaruk's going to join us because on Monday we previewed Warriors Hurricanes today, Pats Blades, and all the other series. So it's going to be a lot of hockey today, as I mentioned. But there is, again, some very interesting stuff coming down from the NFL owners' meetings in Phoenix. And if I may, that's like a bucket list thing of mine. Whether it's be NFL, NHL, whatever, you know it's going to be somewhere nice, somewhere posh.
Always.
Would you like to go cover one?
Yeah, it's either in Phoenix or Arizona,
West
maybe
Palm Beach,
California. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So, yeah, there's some stuff coming out of Phoenix with the NFL owners, so we're going to get to that. You look very comfortable. Have you noticed anything different, Moose? Have you?
Have I?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to notice?
You're on the other side of me.
I guess, hey?
You didn't even notice
I didn't even realize.
Where's your head today?
This is weird. Yeah, I just felt like something was off, and I just thought it was because we haven't been in here in so long.
I shouldn't have even brought it up. You wouldn't have even noticed. It reminds me of a conversation I had with Brett Hull, who played one game left wing, and he's like, no. The game's totally different from over here than from over here. But I guess you don't go for those sort of things. All right, can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan? And we'll go for the...
How about that?
That's still working. I will say, so I'm here because I'm going to be speaking in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan this afternoon on a mental health keynote for Farm Credit Canada, Saskatchewan chapter. And just so you know, all those that have tuned in from wherever locales you're watching on Game Plus TV, maybe on the radio and WQEE, YouTube streaming somewhere. Darren, I left the hotel this morning, and I wasn't overly cold because I'm a man. I run hot physically. I wasn't really that cold. I'm like nippy, but I'm...
Yeah.
It's not Florida, so I know it's not going to be real nice. Jump in my vehicle, and it was a... And I'm like, come on! I pulled out my app. Minus 26!
Oh, no.
On March 28th. I was like literally, come on!
That's awful. That is awful. That's the worst feeling, too, because your car, takes that much longer to start. And then when you're driving, your seat is rock hard. You feel every bump when you're going out in the parking lot.
Overall, it wasn't necessarily that bad, but I did text Serena in Florida, and I said, can you believe this? And she said, it's okay to be angry. And I said, I'm not angry. I'm more stunned that it's minus 26 on March 28th. But anyways, it is hockey weather. And can you hit the show horn again, Jordan? Because yeah. So here's my leftovers from Monday night in the National Hockey League. This isn't every game, but this is what caught my eye. Leon Draisaitl scored his 46th goal of the season, and Connor McDavid chipped in with his 80th assist as the Edmonton Oilers edged the Arizona Coyotes 5-4 at Mullet Arena in Tempe, Arizona. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with the winner. Zach Hyman, Evan Bouchard, and Darnell Nurse scored for the Oilers. The Coyotes have lost 5 in a row. I don't really care about this game, but it came into my summary. Matt Boldy had his second hat trick in the last 5 games for Minnesota. The Flower made 35 saves, and the Surging Wild beat the visiting Seattle Kraken 5-1. And Darren, I'll wind it up on this. A goal and an assist by Brady Tkachuk helped the Ottawa Senators get past the visiting Florida Panthers 5-2 Monday night. I got in to the hotel in time to watch the third period of a dispirited Florida effort. And I'll get to that in a second. Eric Brandstrom, Alex DeBrincat, Tim Stützle, and Shane Pinto scored also for the Senators. And the Panthers have lost 4 in a row. Bad time for them to go in the tank. And my guy, Jeff Pedersen, whom you know, the hotel magnate, he texted me today. He said, both our teams are going to miss the playoffs. We're going to have to find secondary teams. You don't have to worry about that because I guess by virtue of somebody's loss, the Leafs clinched. Was that last night or the night before?
Last night they clinched, yeah. So they're in 7 years in a row. That's good. But, yeah, tough for Florida. That was a game they needed to win last night. They're not out of it, but it's not looking good.
One day at a time, and you can't really worry what everybody else is doing, but they didn't look good last night. Bob was out goaltended by Mad Sogard. And I guess my point is, and I haven't even looked really at the viewer comments here because we got a lot to get through here before Jared Dumba shows up and then Les Lazaruk, my brother from another mother, and the voice of the Saskatoon Blades. But Jeff, back to his text, he goes, we're going to have to find secondary teams to cheer for. And for me, his is the Washington Capitals. They're going to be out. And I didn't want to see the Florida Panthers go out. I wanted to watch some playoff hockey somewhere. And I don't know if it's going to be the Flames, man. I don't know. But I think the Vegas Golden Knights would be a pretty good team for me to cheer for. Who's your secondary team going to be, everybody? If your team bites the big one, who's your secondary team going to be in the Stanley Cup playoffs? I know we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but now the picture's getting a little clearer. But for Leafs fans, Darren, I've never understood the clinching the playoff spot. Even when I was working in the game, football and hockey, when we clinched a playoff berth, I was never the guy celebrating. And to be honest with you, coaches and a lot of the players weren't either. That's not, we expected to.
Yeah, clinching a playoff spot is a celebration for teams that are fighting for the playoffs. So like
Flames.
The Flames, when the Jets, if they clinch, that will be cause for celebration, right? The Islanders, Penguins, Panthers, if any of those teams clinch, that will be cause for celebration. But a team that is expecting to be in the playoffs and has been in a playoff spot all year shouldn't be that excited right now about clinching 10 days out.
I don't think so. I used to say graduating grade 12 isn't really a cause for celebration. Yeah. You should celebrate. You should graduate from high school. Now, as I got out and around and looking around, there's a lot of guys and gals that did not graduate high school that have been on. They're a lot more successful than those that did. So how about this? When you graduate elementary school, there should not be a party.
No, there shouldn't.
We expect to graduate grade 6. So why are we having this, or 8? Why are we having this huge? Why do we have limos showing up and expensive dresses, and these kids are renting tuxedos that they're tearing the knee out of? Clinching a playoff berth is about, to me, the same as graduating elementary school. We expect to.
Yeah.
What are we partying for here?
Yeah. This is tap and putt.
Yeah, and that's why Jay Woodcroft, the Oilers coach, I think I kind of understand where he's coming from. He said he doesn't care where the Oilers finish. He doesn't care. It's not important. They want to be playing well going into the playoffs. Did you see any comments by Sheldon Keefe about clinching? I did not.
I didn't either. I assume it would be more of a formality. Yeah, it's great to get that out of the way, but no, and I'm not even looking for them because, like you said, it's like graduating elementary school. You know, clinching the playoffs when you're in a spot like the Leafs are in, doesn't mean anything. That's not the job here. The job is to win a playoff round, win the Stanley Cup. It's not clinching the playoffs. That's just step one, and that's a formality.
Checking in from the viewers. Start spreading the news. The RP show's live on Game Plus Television, live streaming on YouTube and on the radio, WQEE. John Ohm, I did not bring the gong. It remains a Grey Eagle. But John Ohm says, my secondary team is the New York Rangers. That's a pretty good team. Kevin, the medium, has checked in. He says, minus 26, and Moose still has no socks.
Yeah.
Do you not have a foot sweating problem? Because I do.
No, I don't.
Lucky you.
Yeah, I am very self-conscious about it, though. Like, I am aware that, not wearing socks, I'm worried that my feet stink. So I wash my feet probably more than most people and just have some good foot hygiene.
Okay.
But never been a problem.
That's fair. If your nose runs and your feet stink, you might be built upside down.
Ooh, boom.
How about that? Bob's your uncle. Hell yes.
The crew is here. Flying the Millennium Falcon over here on the other side of the wall. Allie in Texarkana says her number 1 team's the Dallas Stars. Number 2, the Hurricanes. Carlos in Indianapolis says, I don't even have a primary team in the NHL. Well, we're working on that. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, I think I'll go with my original fave when I was a kid and cheer for the Leafs. And this kid's back. I don't know what he's got going on about Connor Bedard. We'll move on. Other than to say April 25th, don't miss comedian, actress, producer, and podcaster Whitney Cummings live at the Grey Eagle Event Center.
Eagle Resort and Casino.
Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.ca. I will be there to see Whitney Cummings. I think she's hilarious. To point 2, and trust me, I know there's footballers that have showed up for that talk, and we'll get there, but our second point is this. What was interesting about that hockey game last night, Ottawa, Florida, was watching the Tkachuk brothers go head-to-head. It's not like they haven't before. They played in the All-Star game together this year in Fort Lauderdale, saw them there. But they don't regularly go head-to-head. And I mentioned here, Brady had a goal and an assist. I don't know what Matthew had last night, but it wasn't enough. Which Tkachuk would you take on your team, Brady or Matthew? And this is interesting. For Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, that's our poll question today. Which Tkachuk? Brady or Matthew? On Twitter, Matthew's leading. On Instagram, Brady's leading. And on YouTube, it's 50-50. So you go first.
I'd rather have Matthew. I like the way he plays. I think, he's a little more mature. I think he's shown that he can score goals, but he can also play physical, can do a lot of things. Until either one of them, has tremendous playoff success, we won't really know. But right now, today, I'm going to go with Matthew.
It's a fascinating debate, and what I hear from the hockey people, because we can all see with our own eyes, newsflash, we're not stupid. We can see that they're both great players, but I don't know them personally. The hockey people do, and what they say is there's a reason Brady's a captain. He's got more heart, he's more mature, and he's a better leader, even though he's the younger of the two. Yep. That's what the hockey people say. And in Calgary, everybody was defending Matthew up until July of last summer. Now they all hate him. He can't skate, doesn't care, blah, blah. Oh, okay. Well, okay, for the last 6 years, he was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
You know how that is.
I know.
So my own personal opinion, I would take Matthew too. I know he takes cheap shots. I know his skating isn't tremendous, but he's on the way to another 100-point season. And we talked about this a while back. There's only 3 other players in NHL history that have had 100 points with one team and then gone to another team and had 100 points the very next year. Gretzky was one, Jimmy Carson was the other, and Mike Rogers. It's pretty rare what he's doing.
Yeah.
So you can say he can't skate, you can say he's cheap and all that stuff. And I used to think you win with guys like Matthew Tkachuk. Well, you know what? You used to win with guys like Matthew Tkachuk, but the Calgary Flames didn't win with Matthew Tkachuk, and the Florida Panthers doesn't look like going to make the playoffs with Matthew Tkachuk, but they can't do it alone. But that fire, he's got fire.
He's got fire.
As does Brady.
Yeah.
That's just the way they were cut. But I let you go first because I was interested to see we agree on something.
Yeah, I know. But the thing about Brady is we haven't seen him with a good team. We haven't seen him on a Calgary Flames or a Florida Panther team. We haven't seen him, in a playoff spot. So I'm curious to see the development of Brady alongside some of those other young stars in Ottawa because they're on the rise. And next year, the Senators, I think, are going to be a team that are going to make some noise. And I really believe they'll be a playoff team next year. And Brady will be a big part of that.
At some point, they are going to kick the door in.
Yeah.
But it wasn't this year. Robin in Prince Albert says, wow, the bunker looks great. Love the old school feel today. Reminds me of episode number 1. Nick writes in and says, call Bedard out. No, I don't want to. For what? John in Winnipeg says, neither Tkachuk for me. Never cared for Keith either when he played for the Jets 1.0. He goes, just my opinion. We're all entitled to our opinion. Opinions are like what? Everybody has one.
Belly buttons.
Yay! You got it. You know it. Everybody's.
I've hung around you a time or two.
Yeah. John in Edmonton has thrown out a myriad of topics that he'd like us to talk about because apparently he's not happy with the ones that we are. Unfortunately, it's not the John Kirby show. What's it say behind me here? What's it say?
The Rod Pedersen
Yeah,
show.
thanks. So, John,
How about that?
you do the watching, we'll do the talking, okay? Okay. What?
That's good.
You love that, don't
Yes.
you? There's a few things that he wants to talk about, but we're going to have to take a break here. We'll come back and talk about the Toronto Blue Jays as they open in 2 days. The 2023 season. Did you feel like that snuck up?
Very fast.
Yeah. So it's here this week. Blue Jays at Cardinals to open up. For the Torontonians watching that really love the Bluebirds, NFL owner meetings. There's some very interesting stuff going down with Dan Snyder, the owner of the Washington Commanders. And yes, Game 7 tonight, it is very important to us, near and dear. SJHL, Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, Estevan at Flin Flon. I got a lot of buddies going to the game. You know they wouldn't. You know who they are.
The driving?
Peanut Butter Pete, Jeff the hotel mag. They're all driving to Flin Flon.
Wow.
From Estevan. Look at a map, people. That's how serious they take their junior hockey around here. And Dub Hub playoffs. But joining us to talk about all that a little later on is Jared Dumba, hockey analyst of ours of the famous Dumba family, hockey-playing Dumba family, and Les Lazaruk, the voice of the Saskatoon Blades. But we'll continue with these hot topics in the Quick Six when we return in the warm-up after this on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, iHeartRadio, and your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE, The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March, it's madness! Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock. Or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150 plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness! On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. The RP Show continues, and I wanted to tell you, I guess we don't have the vast aerial shot of Grey Eagle. My mind's going all over the place today. It's going to be a busy day, but I will say this about Grey Eagle, even though we don't have the aerial shot because we're not there today. If you love the timeless music of the Eagles, and you can't afford to miss Hotel California, the original Eagles tribute on Thursday, April 27th. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.ca. There's a guy, okay, can we bring the Moose on? He's in the bunker with me. It ain't Sports Center, okay, what we do here. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Sometimes we forget that it's a morning, or depending where you are, daytime coffee discussion.
Yeah.
It's a talk show.
Right.
It ain't Sports Center. 968 episodes, and I'm still reminding people. So, I met some oil people at a Flames game recently, and they've gotten hooked to the show.
Okay.
I'm you know this, but I'm going to tell you for a second time to the audience, this is new. So they're like, tell us about your show. I said, well, here you go. Here. The owner of the company was there. I'm not the biggest oil guy, but it's a drilling company, if you know anything about that.
Okay, yeah.
And then his head petroleum engineer was there, I believe. I don't know the terms. So anyways, I'm showing him a clip, and it was the aerial shot of Grey Eagle. I get tingles every time I think about it. And he looks up, he goes, well, we use drones too. You got it. I'm like, I guess it's not that special then.
Yeah.
But now they're listening every day, and they love the show. And they said they were looking for new podcasts and looking for new sports shows because they were bored of what they were listening to. So
welcome.
Isn't that it? Yeah. Welcome, guys. They're very interesting guys. As mentioned, Jared Dumba coming up. We'll be talking Stanley Cup playoffs plus Dub playoffs with him. I initially thought he'd be cheering for God's team, the Regina Pats, in this opening round series, and then I realized he's Blades alum, and he doesn't work for the Pats anymore, so maybe he's not going to be cheering for the Pats. So maybe we won't get along too well. From the 902 line, it's always open to text us 902-518-3033. Ron in Calgary writes and he says, great show, Rod. I live in Calgary, cheer for the Flames, but I'm originally from Regina, so I still bleed green. 40 years here. You don't usually lose your team allegiances unless you're me, and it just spins around like a carousel, and I'm fine with that. The Toronto Blue Jays, point 4, wrap up spring training action today with a game against the Philadelphia Phillies, and then the focus becomes opening day on Thursday when starting pitcher Alek Manoah leads the Blue Jays to Busch Stadium against all-star righty Miles McCullough and the St. Louis Cardinals. The Jays will be the first ever American League team to open the season in St. Louis. I think that's cool.
That is cool.
To the football, which I've promised the audience, Dan Snyder's future in the NFL as owner of the Washington Commanders remains in standby mode while his peers gathered at a posh resort in Phoenix for the league's annual meetings. A discussion on Snyder isn't on the formal agenda, according to a source. Still, Snyder was a hot topic of conversation on Monday, despite his absence. He's not even there. Can you imagine? And even while quarterback Lamar Jackson's trade request dominated headlines. According to New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft, quote, I think he's put the team up for sale. I believe that something is close to happening. I don't know that for sure. We'll wait and see what happens. Do you believe that? That he doesn't even know? I think it's for sale. I don't know. Come on, you guys. We supposed to believe this? Robert Kraft doesn't know.
Robert Kraft knows. Jerry Jones knows. These guys know what's going on. Unless he really doesn't care that much about what happens in Washington. And Robert's just...
What times...
Are they open? What's the... Oh, my God. Yeah. Unless he's just worried about the Patriots. And that's it. But
actually, I think it's for... I don't know. Can you imagine?
In last week,
20 reporters around Robert Kraft. What do you think about the Snyder sale? It's for sale? Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay has said there's, quote, merit to remove Daniel Snyder as owner of the Commanders. That would take an unprecedented vote of 27 of the 31 team owners for it to happen. 24 of the 31 other team owners to happen. They've never kicked an owner out of the NFL. Do you think that that's what's taking so long?
Yeah.
They don't want to set a precedent?
Don't want to set a precedent. And then also because the owners that would be voting would be saying, look, if I misstep, now they can vote me out too. Like I'm setting the precedent.
This is not a small thing.
But it's also, if you remember, he came out, Dan Snyder, and said he had all this dirt on all the guys and he was going to expose it. So, be careful. And when you need so many votes to go your way, all it takes is a few being like, I don't want my secrets aired, even if it's just a dirty tax slip and not even anything that's going to get me divorced or fired or anything like that, right? They don't want anything released. And the fear of the unknown, right? You don't know what Dan Snyder has on you, right?
And he's threatened them to use it.
You don't know. That's like your mom coming up from the downstairs, right? If you don't go to sleep, I'm going to come up there and you won't like it. You don't know what she's coming with, if she's coming with the wooden spoon or if she's coming with an army, right? It's the fear of unknown and your mind goes to the worst possible scenario.
Yeah. I'm pausing the proceedings to read from the text line. Benjamin writes in from Edmonton. He says, good morning, Rod and Darren. I usually watch the show on YouTube, but I'm watching on Game Plus TV for the first time today.
How about that?
Great win by the Oilers yesterday. Yes, and the thing is, we go fast. We covered it off the top. What did we say? Connor hit 80 assists and I think 120 points for the first time in his career. We covered it already. We've moved on in the quick six. Things move fast. But what I will tell you is Jared Dumba, our hockey analyst from the famous hockey-playing Dumba family, is coming up live here in the bunker, and also the voice of the Blades and former color voice of the Jets, Les Lazaruk. So we do have the NHL talk coming, but I'm not done On the NFL stuff, league executive Peter O'Reilly said a vote on host cities for the Super Bowl in 2026 and the NFL draft in 2025 won't take place this week, but it will happen in May. Las Vegas hosts the Super Bowl next year, and New Orleans will be hosting the following year. Kansas City gets the draft next month, and Detroit will get it in 2024. O'Reilly said also the reimagined Pro Bowl with a week of activities and competition capped by flag football is here to stay. He said 100% of players surveyed favor the new format. I know for one, Josh Jacobs said the players don't want to do this. Go Google it. The Raiders running back, remember? What are we doing here? This is stupid.
We're going to survey the players. Mr. Pedersen, did you like the format? I did. 100% say they like the format. Survey's done. Like, it's finished. It was okay, but you have to incentivize these guys, make them want to win, do something. Same thing with the NHL All-Star Game and the skills. You have to incentivize it somehow. Money doesn't motivate people personally. Like they've done $50,000 bonuses, $100,000 team bonuses. That's okay. But you have to incentivize them. And I think tying it to charities, winning teams, charity, gets something or whatever. There's a way to do it. But yeah, I don't know if 100% of the players loved it.
Okay, so that's 5 of the topics. The 6th is randoms, where we can turn it over to the audience if you'd like to do that. If the audience, I have a sense they're feeling a little cheeky today. I think they would like us to turn it over to them. From a few of them, John Ohm in Winnipeg says, nice Vladdy statue on your desk, Rod, but isn't he missing his bat? Don't worry about it, John. Don't worry about it. Just enjoy the show.
How about that?
Phil 3223 writes, and he says, did we just skip spring, summer, and fall and go right to January 2024? Because, it's cold out. If you guys cared enough to show up when we started at 10 a.m. Mountain, we've addressed all of these things. You're all late. Like I said, I got in my vehicle this morning in Moose Jaw, turned it. I'm like, no, stop! Minus 26 with the flippin' wind chill, and it's March 28th.
I know.
Hot damn!
I'll say this. John Kirby in Edmonton has brought this up a couple times. He's got a few things. I'm glad that they're having their own little party in the chat. They're talking about how this isn't Sports Center and this is better because you can interact with a host, and all that's true. But yes, Tim and Friends is going off the air. And I know a lot of, this is what the people don't understand. With our growing U.S. audience, they have no idea who these people are that are our good friends. It's nothing against the Ron McLeans and the Brian Williams and the Tim McCallis, but they have no idea who these guys are. Now, you thought the 49th parallel was a virtual line, and it ain't. It's a wall of China, man. Now, having said that, Tim and Friends going off the air is big news with Canadians, I would think. But maybe not that big of news because that's why it's going off the air.
Yeah. I agree. It would be a financial decision. And this isn't saying that there's a ton. That show has a ton of fans. Great show. I'm a fan. A big fan of Tim's.
I'm a personal friend of him. He's a good guy.
Yeah. And, if the show's not driving enough revenue and the resources can be allocated somewhere else, then that's what the business is going to do. And he's going to be a real asset to what they're doing on Sportsnet Connected and to pregame coverage and to their live game coverage. And that's kind of where some of the live TV has gone. It's gone into, highlights and game coverage and everything to support the live game coverage. Because as we've thought, that's the one thing that doesn't really work in this on-demand world and in this PVR. We're past the PVR world, but PVR and on-demand is live sports because you got to watch it live, right? So they're moving assets around, and hopefully he has a nice, bright future still.
Are we past the PVR era? Because I have a lot of people write me and say they PVR this show and watch it later in the day. And the wonderful thing about that is we are never more than 22 hours old. I mean, you come and watch it at night, you can still.
Oh, yeah. We are in the PVR and on-demand world. But the one thing that's on-demand and PVR proof is live sports. You rarely will
Yes.
record a game and then go watch
You
it later.
do.
I do. Okay. Okay, you caught me.
You.
Busted. But it's true. Like, it's for the most part, unless it's your team and the game, you're rarely going to say
I can't even watch my own team's game, whichever team it is this month.
Right.
Like the Panthers or the Flames or the Golden. If it's not live, I won't watch it. Shoot, when it is live, I have a tough time keeping my brain on the prize. I swear.
Gotta have your phone out. And,
Yeah.
I know.
I get bored very easily, believe it or not, folks. But in the case of Tim McAuliffe, quick Tim McAuliffe story. He was the voice of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They were in town. I was the voice of the Rough Riders, and they were at what's now the Doubletree. It was the Regina, and they were sitting in the lounge having some wobbly pops the day before the game. And I was still drinking wobbly pops at the time. And I'll never forget, I came in and I had this bright green bracelet on, and not like this one. It was like the Tide one.
Yeah.
And Tim goes, "What's the bracelet, RP?" You could see the way he talks. I said, "It's the Craven Country Jamboree." "Why, you want to come?" And he goes, "When there's bracelets involved, you know it's going to be a good time." And it was. But I couldn't get Tim McAuliffe to come out to the Craven Country Jamboree, and I feel like if I had, we'd still be there. Just that devilish smile on his. "What's the bracelet, RP?" From Tim McAuliffe. And then I thought, would it be a shame if he got let go because of this show being canceled? And then I thought, they wouldn't do that to a 25-year employee. And then I thought, what TSN did to Rod Black or CTV to Lisa Laflamme, God knows.
Nobody's immune.
How and why they do the things that they do, and nobody's immune. Not even us. So Moose is going to host the show in hour 2. Are you ready for that?
I will be ready.
You're going to be right here in this chair.
As I said to Drew and Troy's mom when she was asking me about hosting the dinner, the steak night on Saturday night, I said, flying by the seat of my pants is my specialty. So I'll be ready. Allie in Texarkana says, "I just think we have to take a survey that 100% of the audience is happy that Moose has his beard back." To be honest, I don't even notice these things. You don't know? I see you every day. It's in, out, whatever. I know, and I was shaved, and then I think I went away for a long weekend and an extra day or something, and I let it grow out, but... Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, "Why watch Tim and Friends when we have the Rod Pedersen show?" Whoop, whoop. John in Edmonton says, "RP show streaming service coming soon." You're watching it, John. Anyways... See you in hour 2. Yes. Jared Dumba from the Hockey Playing Dumba family in next, right here in the bunker. Stay tuned on Game Plus TV, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and we are Atlanta's NHL show on 99.1 FM WQEE.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Easy snacking all around. something everyone can love.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for $25, 3 for $60, or 10 for $100. But there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Hi, everybody. The RP Show continues. I hope you're having as much fun as we are. Just ahead of our next guest, a sports update on this Tuesday. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are pleased to announce Willie Jefferson and Brady Oliveira as the recipients of the team's prestigious Community Service Awards, the Ed Kotowich Good Guy Award, and the Cal Murphy Heart of a Legend Award. Willie's been recognized as the Kotowich Award winner, acknowledging the player who has excellent football ability, is a leader in the locker room, and shows outstanding effort in the community. Willie's a year-round resident with his wife and 2 daughters. And Brady Oliveira is the recipient of the Cal Murphy Award, presented to the player whom has shown outstanding sportsmanship and dedication to the CFL and the community. Brady is a Winnipegger and product of the North Winnipeg Nomads and Oak Park Raiders programs. He's received worldwide recognition for his work as a dog rescuer with canine advocates in Manitoba and internationally during visits to Mexico and Bali. And from the Dub, Tri-City Americans forward Jalen Lupin has been named WHL Player of the Week. The Blackhawks prospect closed out his regular season with a 6-point effort Friday night, his first ever Hattie, as the Americans defeated the Spokane Chiefs 7-4. And Calgary goalie Braden Peters has been named WHL Goalie of the Week. The product of Tabor, Alberta, helped Calgary secure a berth in the 2023 Dub playoffs presented by Nutrien, posting a 2.00 GAA last week and a .926 save percentage. Sports update is for Landmark Cinemas. Sign up now for Landmark Extras and see what's playing at landmarkcinemas.com. Okay. Through all of that, for our viewers, it's been a while, our audience, since we've had this guy on, Jared Dumba from the famous hockey-playing Dumba family. How you doing, J-Red?
Doing great.
It's always good to see you. Always good.
Always fantastic to see you.
It's great to be seen, especially in this business. So, listen, go look up his Hockey DB. I'm on this website like almost every day. HockeyDB.com stands for Hockey Database. Type in Jared Dumba and you'll see this. He played for the Saskatoon Blades, the South Surrey Eagles. For some reason, the Notre Dame Hounds escaped this. Didn't you play in Notre Dame?
Yeah, played for a year there.
Yeah, it's not on here. You might want to talk to the Hockey DB people.
I'll call them up.
He played for the Oklahoma City Blazers, the Indianapolis Ice, the Austin Ice Bats, the Tulsa Oilers, and the Flint Generals. And I can confidently say I think you were the original Tulsa King.
Sure, I'll
Got
take
you
it.
with that one, hey?
Tulsa, yeah.
Have you been watching Tulsa King?
No, I haven't, but I've heard. Sorry, I'm not a big.
You're too busy.
More of a sports guy.
Oh, stop, Jared. You don't even have cable.
More of a live sports guy.
Well, if you go and look at his hockey DB, his headshot, you look like it's, I don't know what, you look like you're from Degrassi Junior High posing for something.
Is that a bad thing?
No, not necessarily.
Me and Drake?
Yeah, you and Drake. So anyways, I didn't know what you would be wearing in here. I feel like it would be Pats, Blades, or any one of these 18 teams you played for. You got Pat's gear on here, like me.
Yeah, well, I played for the Blades, obviously Blades alumni, but born and raised around the team, and obviously...
It's in your DNA.
Yeah, I mean, Pats fan through and through. So, I mean, if the Blades end up winning, I'll cheer for them, but I got to be honest, I'm a Pats fan.
I'm going to push this to hour 2, a little more of the junior hockey playoffs when Darren will be in this chair. You'll stay in that chair. And I'm running over to Moose Jaw to speak. And we're getting kind of homey here, Sasky, and that's fine. But I called my brother, the Cowboy, yesterday, and I said, I'm speaking to a room full of farmers in the Moose Jaw Arena on mental health. What should I wear? And he says, well, for one, don't wear that Pats jacket.
So you're going to wear it? Maybe.
Initially, I thought, can we get over these things? And then I thought, well, it would be like wearing a Flames jacket into Edmonton. It just wouldn't be smart.
Do you have a cowboy hat?
I do, but I'm not wearing it. That's only for Calgary. No, I'm not going to do that.
I got an original Stetson I can lend you.
That's fine. My point on this is not junior talk here, NHL talk. Now, how are you feeling about this stretch drive here in the final 10?
Oh, it's getting interesting. There's some tight races. I'm kind of watching Ottawa's sure come alive.
Yeah.
Since the Chikrin trade, I know he's out right now, but it's kind of interesting watching. Is Ottawa or Buffalo going to get hot and sneak into one of the wild card spots? Is seeing are the Oilers going to be able to catch the Kings? Obviously, there's a couple of teams that just clinched recently, but still some ground to be made up, and you never know. Somebody always seems to get hot right at the end of the year, and somebody seems to kind of get burned by the pressure. So we'll see. It's going to be a fun last little bit of the season.
That's my point. And for our TV viewers, look at those knuckles. As Don Cherry said about Chris Nowlin, you want to put the photo on his knuckles? That's not from playing the piano. Those are hockey players' hands right there. But what is it, Jared? I bring you in to bring the pro player perspective. The Florida Panthers, by virtue of a 4-game losing streak, have dropped 3 points out of the final playoff spot in the East. And in the West, where we're following Calgary very closely, they're 4 points out. And granted, coming off a home win over San Jose, and they've got LA in there tonight. Why can't these guys keep the pedal to the flipping metal for more than a couple games in a row in the NHL?
I don't know. With those teams, I mean, you look at them on paper, and you'd think that they'd both be locks, especially before the year. Everybody was looking at Calgary and saying, well, Treliving's going to win GM of the year. Look at the moves he made after the big guys leaving there. It's so tough to say. It could be one of a number of things. It could be you got some people looking towards coaching. You got some people, saying that they just don't have the right mix of guys, or they need another scorer in Calgary. They got young Coronado coming up, but that's pretty tough to put on a young guy like that. But I don't know. It's hockey. That's why we watch the games. If we just handed out awards on paper, based on who's the best on paper.
There's really only one team, though, that's kept the pedal to the metal all year, and that's Boston. Now, is that coaching? Because they got a new coach.
I think. It sounds like he's done a great job with the room, and obviously the guys are buying into his systems. Didn't take them very long to get into Montgomery's systems there, but I don't know. Is it because everybody playing for Bergeron and Krejci? Is this their last year? Is this their last kick of the can, and everybody's coming together? Is it the perfect
we say
mix
that about
of guys?
Pittsburgh. We say that about Pittsburgh.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I'll tell you this: when you got Taylor Hall on your third line, you got a pretty good team.
Well, he hasn't always been on the third line, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
he spent time on the third.
Yeah.
We'll take a timeout and come back with audience takeover, and they got some pretty cool questions for you. And then Moose will be in this chair next hour as I head to Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. More with Jared. And then Les Lazaruk coming up, the voice of the Blades, in hour 2. We're live in the bunker on Game Plus Television, YouTube, and we are Atlanta's NHL show on 99.1 FM WQEE.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. We are live in the bunker having just too much fun. Last segment for me. Moose takes over in hour 2 because I got to head to Moose Jaw, and I'm looking forward to that. Our hockey analyst is in the house, J. Red Dumba. 10 years pro?
Yeah.
9 and change?
It
10?
worked out to about 10.
Okay.
10 total.
So I promised some questions from the viewers, and I do want to get my own hockey questions out for you. But John in Winnipeg says, the Austin Ice Bats. You played for them in Austin, Texas. He says, I love their logo. What was it like to play in Texas, the heart of football, Jared?
Oh man, they're football crazy. The high school football is they're absolutely nuts about.
Yeah.
Obviously the college stuff, but just a phenomenal town, phenomenal people. Everybody just seems a little bit more laid back in Texas and Oklahoma. They treat you like gold. And it was really interesting. We played in an old rodeo barn that they turned into an arena.
In which town?
In Austin.
Okay.
We had our dressing rooms were outside. They were in a trailer outside, and you'd dress outside, or you'd dress in the trailer, and then you'd walk outdoors to the arena. And of course, it'd be December, January, and it'd be plus
beautiful.
Whatever. Yeah, beautiful weather. You're walking in your hockey gear, and then you go into the arena. But we got a lot of fans. It was great. Lots of good support, and obviously just a fantastic town.
You better tell the story about your record when you got there and your record when you ended that season.
This is how good the town was, the city was, I should say. I always tell people this story. We were in first place by January 1st, and I can't remember. It was around March 16th, March 20th when the playoffs were kind of all set, and we missed the playoffs.
But there was a houseboat involved in that, and some Hooters waitresses, as I recall.
We met a guy right about the 1st of January, oddly enough, who owned a houseboat company and said we could take it any day we want. It was 2-level barbecue on the bottom, barbecue on the top, and we'd go grab steaks and burgers and whatever, and just be out and roasting in the sun for 8 or 10 hours.
And they missed the playoffs. That's the end of the story. Craig Smith, our director of scouting, writes in. He says, I was wondering where Jared was. Haven't seen him for a while. Looks like he's lost weight. Playing shape. In the time you and I have left, got to get serious. Connor Bedard, I believe, can win a series on his own. And I think he could do it against the Saskatoon Blades. Agree or disagree?
I agree 100%. This kid, he just shows up in the big games, and I'm so excited to see what he's going to do. You got a lot of people kind of going at the negative, saying, well, it's the playoffs, they're going to put 2 guys on him and he's going to get shut down, and Saskatoon's just going to blow through the series. Obviously, we know where that's all coming from, probably. But yeah, Bedard, he's going to come alive in the playoffs as long as the Pats get secondary scoring, their D step up, Sim shows up and plays the way he can. The Pats got a great chance. I think it's going to be a great series. Since the World Juniors, the series is 2-2. So it's they're right neck and neck. It's going to be fun to watch. And Bedard, I agree. Bedard could be that tipping point. If he shows up like he did in the World Juniors, Saskatoon's got to be a little weary.
As a Blades alum, how do you feel about close to 15,000 showing up and setting records there?
Oh,
incidentally, against the Pats and Connor Bedard.
Yeah, when I played there, we were last place, so didn't get to see anything like that. But that's phenomenal.
There's a theme. Darren's over here in the corner. Sign Jared, we're going to last place. Sorry, continue.
I got a couple championships mixed in. Well, that's what you got to do. You got to go up and down. You got to miss the playoffs and win a championship.
Right.
Back and forth.
Yeah, you're part of the rebuild. That's what it is. Last minute of play in hour 1. Daniel in Saskatoon writes in. He says, the Blades will shut him down. A lot of teams have tried. How would you go about doing that in 30 seconds or less?
Well, you know what? All you can do is try contain him. If you're trying to go after him and try and send 2 or 3 guys on him all the time, he's going to expose you. He's going to find the open guys, and he's just going to go to the spots where he needs to. Just like in the World Juniors when he played on a line with Mason McTavish. He could have wheeled the puck. He could have shot it a lot more, but he knew how to use McTavish, and he knew how to go to the areas to draw players away and give McTavish even more space. The only thing you can do is hope to contain him if you're the Blades and play a smart game. You can't really try and go after him too much because that's when he's going to burn you.
All right. Great analysis in a nutshell. Darren and the Moose, will get into NHL, more dub playoffs, and the voice of the Blades, Les Lazaruk, coming up after this brief pause here on Game Plus and WQE.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod
Rod Squad? Now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for 25, 3 for 60, or 10 for 100, but there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Right now.
Yeah, Rod's not here, so I'm hosting the show.
How about that?
Like that? You like that, Jared? That's pretty good, hey?
Looks good, yeah.
Yeah, we're back. Rod is now hitting the road to Moose Jaw, so he'll be gone to speak. And it's me, Jared Dumba. Les Lazaruk will be on later, but we'll be with you for the next hour here on the RP Show. And we say hello, good afternoon. If you're out on the East Coast, good morning if you're on the West. Lots of people want to keep talking about the Blades and the Pats, but welcome to Hour 2. 902-518-3033 is the number to text the show. At Rod Pedersen Show on social media if you want to jump into the conversation. The poll question is also up. We'll get to that in a second. I'm just pulling up all of the due diligence, right? I got to pull up the text line. I got to pull up the YouTube comments. Want to say hello to everybody and thanks for sticking with us. Daniel Caswell wants to point out the Bedard stuff, so we're going to get to more of that. Robin Wildey's still here. Our director of scouting, Craig Smith, is still here. John Ohm is still with us. So again, appreciate you guys for coming back, and Jared still with us here in Hour 2. How are things, man?
Oh, things are great, man. Couldn't be better. Life is good. It's about we're getting towards playoff time. WHL and the NHL coming up quick. One of the best times of year.
Living in this, how many games do you get to go watch? Are you a guy who goes out and watches games throughout the week, or are you a guy who sits home and watches on TV?
I'm more of a TV guy. You know what? I'm more of a radio guy, to be honest.
Okay.
Even the NHL games, you can on the NHL app, you can listen to. I like listening to all the different radio guys from all over the league, and then same thing with kind of the WHL, and then I catch watch games on TV. That's basically all I watch is hockey games on TV and catch up with stats.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
This Blades Pat series, I mean, we're going to get to that in a second. The reason we talk about that so much is there's such national interest on it, right? Because of the Connor Bedard factor.
Yeah.
And something that's happening in this series again because of Bedard is the ticket sales, which typically don't happen in the first round of junior hockey playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Round 2, round 3. When you move through the playoffs, ticket sales go up and up and up, but they're selling out. In Regina, I think there's less than 200 tickets available, single game tickets. They're over 10,000 for games 1 and 2 up in Saskatoon on the weekend. So this is pretty wild.
And everybody knows they got to get their tickets. He's going to be in the NHL next year. This is to see somebody like this in the playoffs, and doing what he's done at 17 years old. Like how many times has this happened? How many times has this happened to be able to go out and watch this, and then to be able to see a team like the Blades, see players like Wong, Lazowski, see some of their. It's two great teams going at it, and they're a little closer than I think what either side might think, but it's gonna be fireworks going off. It's gonna be great, and it's gonna be even better. Can you imagine for all those young guys going in there, and the building's gonna be sold out all the time? That's gonna be. I'd love to be in that room just to feel the energy.
So, couple things. Let's start with that. Is there a game what's the one game you remember playing in that was the wildest in terms of atmosphere, sellouts, pressure? Do you got one that jumps out?
Oh, yeah. When we won the championship my first year in Oklahoma City, we won in 6 games.
So you don't always finish last.
No. I'm an all or nothing type of guy. You either miss the playoffs and go enjoy your summer, or you win it all.
Okay.
But that game 6, we had, I think our building held something like 10,200 and 250 people, something like that. And we had about 10,700 people in the building. You had people that couldn't go to the bathroom because they had people sitting. They were allowing people to sit in the walkways. And so when you looked, you couldn't see anything but just people everywhere. And it was so loud, you couldn't hear your teammates. But at that point of the year, it doesn't matter. You know what everybody's saying and doing. And it was to win at home in front of the home crowd and to hear that loud in a packed building. That was the best game.
And there's something about sports. It doesn't matter how big the stadium is.
No.
A sold-out building is a sold-out building and has the same energy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was only, like I said, 10-5. We had about 10-7 in there. And but it doesn't matter if there's 18,000 seats or 3,500 seats. If you get a small building with 3,500 seats in it and it's sold out, that can be as loud and as raucous as the big buildings.
I remember when we were doing broadcasts, and actually IKS was a part of it alongside Access and Shaw for the WHL championship. And it was the year that Swift Current was going on their run to win the WHL title.
Yeah.
We weren't doing the earlier round. We were doing the final. But Peter Labardis and I showed up in Swift Current to watch one of the games. There was nowhere to sit, so you had to find a place to stand. And the arena doesn't fit 3,000 people.
Well, I remember that well. I was doing the games with Phil Andrews at the time.
That's right.
And in the booth, in the broadcasting booth, as the crowd would cheer, the booth was shaking, and we were looking at each other, going, "Wow, this is awesome."
So in Swift, you have to climb up a ladder.
Yeah.
And you get to a booth that sits over top, wooden, and looks out over top of the crowd. It's not a big structure. There's 3 booths, not connected.
Yeah.
And so you were feeling it swaying.
You could feel it sway, yeah. And every time there was a big play or a big hit, or especially a goal, obviously, the building would just go nuts, and you could feel that thing swaying. And we had ear to ear smiles the during the whole broadcast.
But it's a little eerie when the broadcast booth starts swaying a little bit.
Yeah.
It's in the back of your mind. And I remember we were calling the game in the booth next, right? And the next one over.
Yeah.
And it was a television broadcast. And about halfway through the game, it's so loud in there. And all of a sudden, I hear, and I'm like, I grabbed on, like I reached for the wrap. I thought the booth was going down. It was a tripod that had fallen over in the back. But that's how tense it was, because that thing's held together by, you don't know what, old duct tape. And
well, I remember thinking, starting to go, okay, well, wait a minute. How old is this building? Start looking around. Is this thing reinforced with it when you start to feel it sway?
We would go in there the next morning for the pregame skate, and Jamie Heward, who was the assistant coach at the time, now at the Vegas Golden Knights organization, would walk in and it would just smell like beer through the whole stadium. And it'd be like, smells like they had fun last night,
Yeah.
And
beer and stale popcorn.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Robin Wildy says a sold out Art Hauser Center in PA is amazing. Yes, Robin. We actually have, the bobblehead is in storage, but I've got an Aussie Wiseblood bobblehead from that playoff series. And instead of being on the little stand, he's actually on a milk crate, because that's in PA. The only way to get more people in was to make more rows in the concourse. And the only way to see is to stand on milk crates. So they had people standing around the concourse, and the second row people would be up on standing on a milk crate. And so the bobblehead, they put them on a milk crate.
What a great idea.
Unreal.
Marketing genius.
Hashtag milk crates. Jen watching says, walking under scaffolding in that arena, but they serve Pilsner, and it's cheap. So,
hey, cheap beer, cheap hot dogs. The people will come.
Yes. Craig Smith enjoys hockey on the radio, says he listens to Al Shaver calling Minnesota North Stars on KSTP and Dan Kelly calling Blues games on KMOX. He said, did Jared go to a Texas Longhorn football game?
Didn't get to go to a Longhorn football game. Obviously, we watched. You'd go to pubs, and they'd be absolutely packed, and you'd get to watch. It would be great atmosphere in there. When I was in Oklahoma, though, did go to see some Sooners games. That was when Adrian Pedersen was absolutely tearing up the league as a first year player. That was pretty awesome, because those buildings are filled. I think it held about 86,000 people, and we remember sitting way up high in the nosebleeds one game. That gets pretty scary. I didn't realize how steep those are. When you're leaving, you're thanking God that they don't allow beer in there, because there'd be a lot of people falling down those stairs.
That's one thing I have not experienced is the 100,000 people in one stadium, like the big stadiums.
Yeah.
And we're going to be spending a lot more time out east. Coming in the next number of months, and one of the places I want to go is the Big House in Michigan and watch the Wolverines in the 110,000 seat stadium. But it's overwhelming to think of that many people. We think 30-some thousand at a CFL game sold out is pretty good.
Yeah, well, and just the highest I've been to, like I said, is Oklahoma. I think it's about 86 or just over. And yeah, you spend half the time just looking at the sea of faces, and it's just a different energy when there's that many excited people around at a sporting event, and you're just kind of in awe, because the way that they have to pack you in so tight, it's just it's just awe-inspiring to be there.
Absolutely is. We've got more I want to get to on Bedard, including your thoughts on his NHL future. We'll do that next segment. But there are a number of games in the National Hockey League tonight. Columbus is in New York. The Rangers are home to the Blue Jackets, who are the odds-on favorite to land Connor Bedard. The Philadelphia Flyers home to Montreal tonight. Boston continues against Nashville, who are in a battle for their playoff lives, trying to claw their way in. Carolina home to Tampa Bay. Detroit welcomes Pittsburgh, who are in a playoff battle of their own, trying to stave off a chase from the Florida Panthers. Vancouver is in Seattle. Chicago home to Dallas. Another big one on the three big late games. Edmonton is in Vegas. Vegas winning that last one Saturday night in overtime. LA is in Calgary, and Winnipeg is in San Jose. So I want to go there. We got 4 minutes left in this segment, and then we'll move into the next one. It's 11:11, by the way, if you're into that.
Right on. I am.
that, but the Angels are singing. Winnipeg, Calgary. Who gets in and why?
Oh, you know what?
Sorry. Winnipeg, Calgary, Nashville. Who gets in and why?
See, for some reason, I want to say Winnipeg. I mean, Calgary always could, but I would always want to say Winnipeg. They've got the goaltending. They've got some great D. They've had some big games this year. I would think they would be a little bit higher up in the standings right now, but they've got some great forwards, obviously some great scoring forwards. They seem to have everything that they need, and if they can pull it together and put a little string together here, that would be my call.
It'll be interesting to see who does get in. Right now, the Winnipeg Jets hold the second wild card spot. They have 85 points. They're 3 points back at Seattle with 88. But then it's Calgary and Nashville. Calgary's 4 points back with 81 points, and Nashville is 5 points back at 80 points. The thing about Nashville, they've got 2 games in hand.
Yeah, that's the other thing. And they've been playing some decent hockey. Evangelista, he's been since coming up, he's been playing well. He's been doing some scoring, so pretty much at the same level as he was in the AHL. So they got some good young guys there. Once again, it's you got to play the games. It's going to depend on, do the old boys pull their weight with the young guys playing so well? If they do, you never know. Anything can happen.
How do you feel if you're the Winnipeg Jets right now? And we have a lot of Winnipeg Jets fans that are watching this show that are getting really nervous that their team's only up 4 points. They were a first-place team in the Western Conference at one point.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just kind of been one of those weird seasons. They've got great coaching, they got everything you need. Obviously, if I was just a pure Jets fan, I'd be a little bit on edge too. But I don't know. I think they've got a great chance. This is usually the time when those big boys step up: the Scheifele's, the Connors, Hellebuck. Starts shutting the door, at an even higher level type thing. It's gonna be fun to watch. That's for sure. I'm gonna be glued to my seat for the rest of the season.
But have you been in a situation like that? You look at the Jets season. Everything was going great, right? I mean, let's go back a little further. Let's go back to last year. Yeah. Things weren't so great. Yeah. Paul Maurice leaves. They don't make the playoffs. There's locker room issues. Blake Wheeler's has the captaincy removed. Rick Bowness comes in, takes over this team, seems to get the culture back on track, seems to have cleaned up the locker room, and all of a sudden, Jets are in first place. Things are rolling for the Winnipeg Jets. Yeah. But those things in the locker room now are creeping back in, right? Have you been in some locker rooms like that?
I've been, yeah, and I mean, I don't want to say too much of, stuff that I've heard, but I've been in locker rooms like that where there's, it's almost a little bit of an old boys club where it's it kind of separates the room a little bit, where the old boys are trying to make the young guys pay their dues to be a part of the crew a little bit too heavy. You know what I'm saying? Well, there, I guess I did say it, but but that can divide a room, and all of a sudden you get the young guys going, well, you know what? Isn't this a team?
Yep.
And you start thinking that, and you get a couple guys off to the side talking on their own. The old boys are off talking on their own, and then it just kind of puts a little bit of a divide in there. I don't know if that is. I mean, you hear rumors. I don't know if that's true. It could be a number of other things too. But if there's something like that going on, that can make the team go through some ups and downs. I've seen that happen.
It can. Are you wearing socks today?
I am, but oh yeah, look at that.
The short socks.
You like that? Short socks.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're wondering if we're both not wearing socks today, and I thought that would be crazy. Hey, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna go more in depth on these playoff races. We're gonna continue in the West, move to the East. I want your thoughts on Bedard and Les Lazaruk also on the way here in hour 2. It's the Rod Pedersen Show here on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, 99.1 FM in the Atlanta area, and we'll be back after this short timeout.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902 518 3033.
I'm Bridget Laquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina. It's March, it's madness! Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock. Or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150 plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness! On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Yeah, Darren Dupont in for Rod Pedersen. He is on the road off to a speaking gig, so welcome in to Hour 2 of the RP Show. Les Lazaruk will be alongside the voice of the Saskatoon Blades next segment. So we'll chat a little junior hockey. We'll get into the Jets with him. But we're going deep on these NHL playoffs because it is right around the corner. Their playoffs are supposed to start on April 17th. So that is before long. We're in the final 10 games of the regular season. Jared Dumba is with me as well. I don't know if I asked you, when I asked you about the locker room issues the Jets are facing last segment. How do you fix that? You don't like somebody across the room, or there's tension, or things aren't going well and you're blaming somebody else, or you're Scheifele and you haven't been scoring, and guys are starting to put pressure on you. How do you fix it?
Well, if the issue is a little bit of a divide between the old boys and the young boys, that's hard because it's always got to be the old boys that calling a team meeting and getting everybody on the same page and talking things through and just kind of clearing the air if there is anything, so if there is any hard feelings either way, it's kind of tough if the old boys are involved. Now if not, that's the way you clear it. The Scheifele's get together and they call a team meeting And whether that's a group get together or a meeting in the room without the coaches and just everybody, you got any issues, get them out on the table. Let's all talk about everything. We're a team here, and just kind of lead it that way.
But you have to think that they've done that already.
You'd think.
And if they have, it didn't work.
Yeah, and the only other answer, barring that, is just trades, moving guys, moving one or two guys here or there from either side, if there is any of that stuff going on.
Okay. Poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. We're looking at the Tkachuk boys, and the poll question is this: which Tkachuk would you rather have on your team, Brady or Matthew? 55% on Twitter with Brady. Where are they on YouTube, Clark? 50-50. Brady or Matthew?
Me? Right now, Matthew. Okay. In 2 to 3 years, Brady.
2 to 3 years, Brady. I'm curious. I'm really curious to see what Brady does when the Sens are good. When they're good. Next year, I believe there will be a playoff team. I believe they're going to be good. I wonder, he's wearing the C. I wonder how much Claude Giroux is the leader on that team and not Brady.
Well, he's definitely helping. He definitely comes in, but you know what? Brady leads by example every single night. If the team needs a fight, he's out fighting. He's out hitting guys all the time. He's in front of the net. He's scoring big goals, and you can see when you watch the games, if the team's in a bit of a lull, there's one guy who's always going and drags everybody else into the fight. And Matthew's much the same way, but when you watch Brady, that's why I say in a few years I'm going to say Brady would be my pick, is because Brady seems to know the times when the team needs it. It just takes a special player to have that awareness when you're on the ice and you go, oh, wait a minute. I can tell right now things are not going well, and I'm going to step it up, and I'm going to drag everybody into the fight. Matthew does it naturally, just who he is, but Brady's the type of guy who does it at specific times when it's needed, and when it's not needed, he can just play his role. He still plays hard, but he really steps it up when the team needs it.
That's interesting. It'll be, I'm curious to follow, but both really, really good players. So you can vote now on our Twitter page. You can vote at rodpeterson.com for the daily poll for Capital Auto Mall and Universal Collision Center. Okay, back to this playoff race in the Western Conference, because that's the most intriguing right now. We're inside the final 10 games, and it's really coming down to Winnipeg, Calgary, and Nashville for one spot. Winnipeg and Calgary both have 8 games remaining. Nashville has 10. They've got a couple of games in hand, and right now it's Winnipeg with 85, Calgary's 4 back at 81 points, and Nashville with 2 games in hand, 5 points back at 80 points. One thing I will say is that Winnipeg and Calgary are both positive in a for goals against differential. Winnipeg's +12, Calgary's +4 in the season. Nashville is a -12. But I want to look at the schedules. We'll start with the Winnipeg Jets. Then we'll go to Calgary. Then we'll go to Nashville. This is the Jets' schedule with 8 games remaining. They've got the Sharks and the Red Wings this week here to wrap up the month of March. 2 teams that will not make the playoffs in the National Hockey League. And in April, they've got the Devils, a playoff team, a very good one. The Flames, big playoff battle. The Preds, big playoff battle. And then the Sharks again, followed by the Wild and the Avs. Looking at the Jets schedule, what do you like? What don't you like?
Well, I mean, you got to like those head-to-head games where you can pick up the 4-point games. But you're looking at some other teams that are pretty good. You look at what Minnesota's doing right now. Young Matt Boldy, he's got 2 hat tricks in the last week or 2.
Yeah,
he's really coming around. They seem to be rolling a little bit. There's some tough games coming up there. But they got an opportunity. You know what? The good thing is when you got to play that many good teams and you got those big 4-point games. If you end up winning the majority of those and getting into the playoffs, you're on a heater. You're rolling, and you got a lot more confidence going in because you've just beaten some pretty big teams. So honestly, I'd rather get in if I was a player on a team, on one of these teams, I'd rather get into the playoffs on a high, beating the good teams like that and beating your rivals head to head, rather than just having an easy schedule and only playing, San Jose and Chicago, 6-8 times.
If I look at those games, whether it's San Jose twice and Detroit once, you win those 3.
Yeah.
You're going to lose, let's say you lose to the Devils, the Wild, and the Avs, who are all ahead of you in the standings. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That puts you at 91 points.
Yeah.
That gets you to 91. So the Jets, remember that. I should write that down. 91 points. Yeah. That's with the game against the Flames and the game against the Predators still up in the air, becoming really meaningful. Let's look at the Flames' schedule next. The Flames also have 8 games remaining. They start against LA and Vancouver to wrap up the month of March here this week. And then as we move into the month of April, we get the Ducks, the Blackhawks, there's the Jets, the Canucks again, the Preds, and the Sharks. If I look at their schedule and you start looking at this team being at 81 points, the Kings are ahead of them. Okay, maybe the LA wins that one. But you start looking at winnable games. Vancouver, right?
There's a lot of them.
Below them. The Ducks, below them.
Yep.
Blackhawks, below them.
Yeah.
Canucks again, below them. And the Sharks, below them. That's 10 points, right? That puts them to, what's the magic number? 91 points, which is the same number we said the Jets would get to.
Yep.
With 2 big games up for grabs. The Jets and the Flames on April 5th, and then the Flames and the Preds on the 10th. So their magic number is to 91 with those 2 games. Again, taking care of business. They have to win, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 of those other 6 games.
And the other thing when you're going into games like that, sometimes you can get a little bit ahead of yourself going, okay, well, this is an easy one. And then you're getting into a team at the end of the year that's just excited to get the year over, who's playing with nothing to lose. And all of a sudden you come out of it with a loss and you go, oh, wait a minute. Now we've really got to. Now those other games get that much bigger, and now you're hoping for a loss, and you're nervous. You're on edge. You're watching the scoreboards, and it's.
But this is what they're doing in those markets. They're looking at the schedule and saying, okay, what is our path to the playoffs?
Yeah.
Winning the games we need to win.
Yeah.
And for the Flames, it's a very favorable schedule into the end of March and into April. Yeah. But they have to win 5 of those 6 games. Tonight against the Kings is the only game that's on the Flames schedule that would say, okay, if you lose this one, they're ahead of you in the standings, whatever. But then you got to win your next 5.
Yeah.
Excluding the 2 games against Nashville and Winnipeg.
Yeah, well, and I mean, if they can get a win tonight against the Kings at home, I mean, that's huge for the confidence and rolling into those next games where you've just beat a team that's in second place right now, and then you're rolling into the games that are supposed to be a little bit easier. So they've got a very good, very possible road
going into the head-to-heads. Winnipeg, Calgary can get to 91 points with those head-to-heads, deciding everything. Okay, Nashville Predators, they're 5 points back of the Winnipeg Jets. They've got 10 games remaining, okay? They've got the Bruins and the Pens to wrap up the month here in March. And then in April, they've got St. Louis, Dallas, Vegas, Carolina, Winnipeg, Calgary, Minnesota, Colorado. If you look at the Nashville Predators schedule, I would argue there are no winnable games. Now, this is the National Hockey League. When you talk about teams below them in the standings, they don't have them. If you want to bring one into that equation, St. Louis. Sorry,
yeah.
St. Louis, and maybe Pittsburgh. Maybe the Pittsburgh Penguins. If you look at the standings right now, where are the Pittsburgh Penguins? Pittsburgh holding on to another playoff spot, obviously, the wild card spot, at 82 points. They're 1 point ahead of Nashville.
But when that's your second most winnable game, and it's against Malkin, Crosby, Letang, Carter, who hasn't had a big season, but he's started to put up some goals lately. Great goaltending. It gets a little scary for Nashville fans.
When you start looking at the games you have to win, they're going to need to beat a Vegas, a Carolina, or a Dallas somewhere here and there. And, I mean, you're going to need to sweep the Calgary-Winnipeg games on the 8th and the 10th of April.
Well, and here's the other thing. Now let's look at those games at the last 2 or 3 games, because if the teams that are playing top teams in their last 2 or 3 games, do those teams all of a sudden start, resting some of their big guys? And does that start to come into play at all?
I know.
That's another thing to think about, that, teams start worrying about when you're watching somebody else has got to play, if they're playing Vegas and all of a sudden they're sitting Eichel and the big guns, and they're going, oh, come on, that's, right? That comes into play too.
So now that we've gone through it and you kind of get a look at the schedules, how do you like Winnipeg, Calgary, Nashville finishing?
I just have a feeling Winnipeg's going to pull something together here with the coaching, and when you've got, when you got a long season, when things are kind of going up and down, it's a long season, you're looking ahead. But when you get into those last 10 games or so, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And when you got that many good players and the goaltending that they have, it's a lot easier to kind of bring your A game every single night. I'm still liking them. If you're going to look at schedules, I mean, you kind of got to like Calgary a little bit, but it's I don't know. It's something's telling me Winnipeg, but we'll see.
Calgary absolutely has a easier schedule, more winnable games, but they've got ground to make up too.
Yeah.
And they've got to win 5 games to get to that 91 points.
Yep.
Winnipeg's only got to win 3.
Yeah.
Winnipeg's got to go 3-3.
Yeah.
So they've got opportunities to pull something out as well.
And goaltending can win you 3 on its own out of 8 games if it gets really hot.
Absolutely.
That's the other thing.
Yeah. That is absolutely a possibility. Right now, I like Winnipeg. They've got an easier path to the playoffs than Calgary. I think Nashville has a really tough go, even though you look at the 2 games in hand and think, man, if they win those 2 games, now all of a sudden, they're only a point back and it looks pretty good. I don't like they've got a really, really tough schedule.
I know they've got a couple of higher end scores, but they're just kind of missing that extra, I don't know, a little bit of depth scoring, whatever it is. They're just not built like Winnipeg or even Calgary, even though Calgary's kind of, underperformed compared to what they are on paper. Yeah, I think it's definitely, for me, it's between Winnipeg and Calgary. But it's going to be interesting. That's why they play the games.
It's going to be really interesting. The other battle, we'll look at it quickly. And Clark, I don't think you need to bring this up unless you have it right away, is the Pittsburgh and Florida battle for the final playoff spot in the East. I think that's it. You could bring in Buffalo and Ottawa into that equation. Buffalo does have a game in hand on the Florida Panthers, but so does Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh in the final wildcard spot, 82 points. Florida is 3 points back, 79 points right now. Pittsburgh does have a game in hand. Pittsburgh's got 9 games left. Yeah. Florida's got 8 games left. Here's what Pittsburgh has on the schedule. They've got the Detroit Red Wings and the Nashville Predators this week. Winnable games for them. Then they've got in April Boston, Philadelphia, New Jersey, Minnesota, Detroit, Chicago, and Columbus. So they end with a pretty soft schedule, having Detroit, Columbus, and Chicago as your final 3 games of the season. Florida, to wrap up this week, tomorrow night they've got the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto, and then they're in Montreal before the April schedule that has them playing Columbus, Buffalo, Ottawa, Washington, and then wrapping up their season with Toronto and Carolina. There's an opportunity here for the Florida Panthers to make up some ground, and then it could come down to the final days of the regular season.
Well, and I really thought they were going to be better this year than what they've been. If I'm picking between those 2 right now, there's just something with Florida being a little bit up and down, and watching Pittsburgh, I know they've been up and down as well, but if you watch Sid, his last number of games, he's putting the team on his back, and he's all over. He looks like he's 25 years old again. He's been awesome to watch, and I think Sid puts the team on his back. Gino keeps stepping up like he has all year. I think they get in, but once again, anything can happen.
20, 11, and 5 at home. And when you get into April, they've got 5 home games, just 3 on the road. So favors the Pittsburgh Penguins that way for sure. Okay, we're going to take a break. Is Les logged in, Clark? They're working on the audio. So we'll have them coming out of the commercial break. We're going to go to Saskatoon and tee up the Western Hockey League playoffs. And we'll talk Connor Bedard with Les Lazaruk, voice of the Saskatoon Blades, after this. You coming back for overtime? You sticking around? You want to?
Yeah, why
awesome.
not?
Okay, we're going to bring Jared back for overtime as well. All right, you're watching The Rod Pedersen Show. Listening on 99.1, wherever you get your podcasts as well. You're watching on YouTube Live and around the world, or across Canada for sure, on Game Plus television. Back after this timeout.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
It's March, it's madness! Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock. Or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150 plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness! On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
All right, Darren Dupont in for Rod Pedersen, who's away now for the remainder of the show. He is off To bigger and better things. He's off to a speaking engagement. So that's where Rod is. Darren Dupont here with you. And Les Lazarick, the voice of the Saskatoon Blades, with us on the video chat. How are you, Les? There you are.
I'm great. Good to see you finally. For a long time no see, Darren.
It's been far, far, far too long. What's been good in your life?
Just about everything except the weather, which would be nicer if it got a little warmer and felt more like spring. They tell me it's spring based on the calendar, but I would say it's not spring right now. Not when it got down with wind chills about minus 30 overnight here in Saskatoon.
Brutal. It is so bad. I turned the heater on this morning. I was cold. That's not fun, but it should hopefully feel like spring pretty soon, especially when the playoffs get started on Friday, I would think.
Well, you'd have to hope so, but and that'll heat things up for sure, especially in the rinks throughout the Western Hockey League. 8 conference quarterfinals will get started on Friday night, and 4 in the Eastern Conference, 4 in the Western Conference, including the one I'm sure you brought me on to talk about, and that would be the Saskatoon Blades and the Regina Pats featuring Connor Bedard.
Yeah, it's just wild. Is this, for you, a dream matchup? Is this the one that you wanted?
I don't know if I necessarily wanted it. I think the Blades definitely wanted it, and not because they think they can beat the Pats, start throwing out locker or bulletin board material. They like it because of the fact that they're going to get big crowds again. I mean, the lower bowl is pretty much sold out for the first 2 games. They expect to have close to a sellout again after having had their final 2 regular season home games be sellouts on the 19th and 24th of this month. With 14,768 at SaskTel Center for both of those games. So something similar to that come Friday night for game 1 and for Sunday game 2 is what the Blades are counting on. And so that would be the dream matchup as far as the matchup goes for marketing purposes. Let's put it that way.
But those 2 games in Saskatoon, the big sellouts with the Pats coming to town twice just recently, what were those like? I mean, obviously a sellout creates a new atmosphere, but it's just a regular season game and they're coming to watch Bedard. But then you're looking at a potential, playoff preview. Where do those games rank in terms of all-time experiences for you calling games? Because you've been in a lot of good moments.
Yeah, I mean, they're not the largest crowds that I've called a game in front of. You have to go all the way back to the first ever hockey game played at the Rose Garden in Portland back in the fall of 1995 for that. There were 17,500 that night, and we saw the Winterhawks play the Blades that night. There's stories behind that game that are just crazy. I could probably take up most of our time chatting about that particular evening and some of the things that went on that night. But this, from a Saskatoon perspective, as far as being at home in Saskatoon, would rank right up there. I mean, close to some of the Memorial Cup games that we had in 2013. Probably the best one of those would have been when the Blades beat the eventual champion Halifax Mooseheads with Nathan McKinnon and company, the eventual champions. That was a big night, and there have been some other big nights in the building as well. But as far as those crowds go, well, these are the biggest crowds that have ever happened in Saskatoon at SaskTel Center or Credit Union Center or Saskatchewan Place or whatever the heck you want to call it. But it's the same building. It's gone through some different names, and right now it's SaskTel Center, and it's the biggest crowd that's ever been to see a Saskatoon Blades hockey game. There have been lots of folks here in the building for lacrosse games of the Saskatchewan Rush and for concerts of various kinds, trade shows, whatever the case may be. Remembrance Day celebrations, they've had massive crowds for those days. But This is the biggest that we've seen, these last 2 home games in the regular season, and a different atmosphere as a result. But I think it even gets amped up a little bit more when you bring in the playoffs starting on Friday.
You mentioned the 2013 Memorial Cup. There's been some really, really good Blades teams, and this team obviously isn't a first-place team in the conference or in the Western Hockey League, but there's a lot of excitement around the group, and then there's even more excitement about creating this rivalry with Regina and their superstars. So I talked about where those games you called the 2 near sellouts or the sellouts ranked. for you. But going into this playoffs, where is this going to, kind of sitting for you in terms of the excitement going into calling this game, and possibly we're predicting being close to sellouts or well over 10,000 fans in attendance. You've called games with Brady and Shen and other big names that the Blades have had in the Memorial Cups, but where does this one rank in terms of your anticipation this week?
Well, it's going to be big because this is, with the record that this team put together this year. And again, remember, they only played 68 games, but they got to 100 points, 101 points in only 68 games, which is the best record the franchise has ever had in a, well, that's not true. It's the second best in a 68-game season. There was the 1972-73 team that still only played 68 games, but had a few more points in the season. And, of course, then there's the 2010-11. By points percentage, which was 743 this year, this is the third best Blades regular season in franchise history, and that includes the first 2 years, which a lot of people tend to forget. They were an SJHL team in 1964 through 66, and then joined up in the what was called the Canadian Junior Hockey League back in 1966 when the WHL was first formed. So 59 seasons, third best record of all time, really saying something. And as a result, there's a lot of anticipation that this group can do something moving forward this year. And the first stop in front of them, the first encounter that faces them, is Connor Bedard and the Regina Pats, and it should make for a very interesting series because of the elite level of player that Pats, not just in Bedard, have, but three other guys. They've got 4 elite players that are going to give the Blades all they can handle during the course of this opening round series.
Yeah, they do. They have those guys, and if they get good goaltending, this could be a good series. So I guess that's the short question: is what's the prediction for the opening round series?
Well, my prediction is thanks to having Bedard and those 3 other guys, you can't rule them out for not being able to give the Blades a good series. If I was to look at it just based off of sheer numbers and stats and all the rest of that, I'd probably say Saskatoon in 5. But I'll also throw in the fact that I think that Bedard is worth a couple of wins because he can get free. Let's remember that Blades and Pats played 5 times this year. And in 2 of those 5 games, Saskatoon was actually able to keep Connor Bedard off the score sheet. That only happened 5 times all season long. The Saskatoon Blades did it twice to him, all in the last 3 weeks. So this is an interesting matchup in that respect. Can Bedard overcome the team checking, the team defense that the Blades are going to throw up against him and the Regina Pats? I think he can do it for maybe a couple of games, but can he do it for an entire series and get 4 victories and squeeze that out for the Pats to advance? I don't think so.
Very interesting. I'm looking so forward to it, and I know you're going to enjoy that. Hey, I got to ask you about your Winnipeg Jets, and I know you've been following them closely. We went through the schedules. I actually think the Jets have a quite favorable schedule down the stretch here to clinch the final playoff spot in the West. But where are you at with the Jets, and what can this team turn it around and make a run in the playoffs, or are you worried like other Jets fans who are watching this show?
Well, I guess I'm worried like other Jets fans who watch the show, Darren, but as long as you have Connor Hellebuck, and if we can get, here I go with the royal we as a Jets fan, but if we can get the Connor Hellebuck in goal that we saw at the beginning of the season going into the postseason, and that includes starting now. Essentially, it's playoff time for the Jets. They have to play playoff hockey now to ensure that they have a spot in the Western Conference playoffs in the National Hockey League. And if they can get Connor Hellebuck to play in goal like he can, if they can get Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor and Blake Wheeler, and it's all the same cast of characters, Pierre-Luc Dubois, if they can continue to play, they need Josh Morrissey to continue to go as Josh Norrisy, the Norris Trophy candidate on defense. If the Jets can get all that happening again, they can be a factor come playoff time. But if any of those things fall apart, and especially if it's not Hellebuck that we know, the good Hellebuck, I mean, he's alternated over the years. Good Hellebuck, not so good Hellebuck. Good Hellebuck, not so good Hellebuck. We're seeing that in this season alone. Started off great, not so great in the second half. But if he can come back to being great, Jets have themselves a good opportunity to do some damage.
Hey, Jets looking to get in the playoffs. Blades start the playoffs on Friday. It's a good time to be Les Lazaruk, and it's good to see your face, Les. I appreciate this today.
Good to see yours as well, Darren. Hopefully we get to see it live and in person, one-on-one, one of these days.
I hope so, and let's put something on the books. Les, appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week.
Thanks. You too, Darren.
All right, Les Lazaruk, the voice of the Saskatoon Blades. A lot of eyes across not just Saskatchewan, not just the Western Hockey League, but across Canada will be on the Saskatoon Blades, the Regina Pats. That first-round playoff series starts on Friday. Overtime is next. Jared Dumba's back. You're watching The Rod Pedersen Show here on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live. You're listening on 99.1 and wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I gotta hit the beat.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for $25, 3 for $60, or 10 for $100. But there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Darren Dupont in for Rod Pedersen. One final segment here in overtime. You can get your questions in, get your texts in 902-518-3033 is the text line. Jared Dumba is here for one final segment. We got a little less than 5 minutes on the program, Jared. Breaking news. Dan Snyder's asking price has been met. Ownership group, including Magic Johnson, reportedly submits, hold on to your seats, a $6 billion bid for the Washington Commanders. Woo! That is not pocket change. $6 billion.
That's it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
How about that?
How about
Just missed
that?
out.
Well, yeah. Our bid fell short, Jared. Cindy Price writes in on the 902 text line, I am pulling for my Pittsburgh Penguins. And yes, the Pittsburgh Penguins in a playoff spot right now and looking pretty darn good. Hey, but if I can't let you out of here without, one more thought on Bedard, because this question came up on the YouTube chat a few times. And what came up was his future. Obviously, people want to talk about he can't keep this up. When he was drafted at 14 and got the exceptional status, okay, but he's not going to be that player in junior right away. It's going to catch up to him. It hasn't. He's going to go against men in the National Hockey League. Will that catch up to him?
Here's what I say. The things that the negative parts I hear when I'm just talking to people around town are he's not big enough, not strong enough, and he's not fast enough. There's another player that I remember everybody saying that about right until he got inducted into the Hall of Fame, Wayne Gretzky. He was never fast enough, never strong enough, never tough enough. He's such a great player. Every time he moves up a level or plays, at a World Juniors, he just gets better. Because when he plays around, the better the players are that are with him, the more you can see how smart he is and his hockey IQ. I think when he goes to the NHL, I think he's going to get even better. Now, is he going to win the scoring race in his first year like he was leading the scoring race in the WHL at 15 years old before he went to the U18s? I doubt that's going to happen with McDavid and lots of guys in the league, but I would not be surprised if he puts up 90, 95 points in his first year. And that's saying that's a lot. And a lot of people will say, well, no way. Not a chance, but let's watch the games and let's see what he does. When you think the game that far ahead and you need a split second of time, you got that shot and you can put it in from the angles you can. And when you can set up guys the way he does, and he's kind of quiet, he's not that powerful guy everybody's watching at all points of the game. He's the guy that all of a sudden, whoa, where'd he come from?
I know.
And now he's in on a 2-on-1 or a breakaway and he's putting it home. He's going to be as good. I think he's going to elevate his game.
We're inside the final minutes. You got to be quick on this one because I wanted to talk to you about the draft. You wanted to get this in.
Yeah.
Connor Bedard, number 1. Easy. They're talking about Adam Fantilli and Leo Carlsson, 2 and 3. That's Craig Button's ranking. He's got Matvei Michkov in 4th. You think that's too low?
I would take Michkov second. I think there's a good possibility that they pass on him. I think whoever passes on him is going to be kicking themselves in 3, 4, 5 years down the road. Michkov, 20 points in 30 KHL games. Ovechkin had 23 and 53 or 56 at the same age. This Michkov kid is unbelievable.
Can't wait for it. Jared thinks Matvei Michkov number 2. Thanks for coming, pal. Thanks to Les Lazaruk, Rod Pedersen. We'll see you tomorrow here on Game Plus.
Who has more fun than us?